thank you so much for coming out to this town hall meeting. This is a joint town hall meeting between the Utilities Board of the City of Tuskegee and the City of Tuskegee. We're going to hereby call the meeting to order, and we'd like to ask all of you if you'd be kind enough to please stand. We're going to ask our chaplain, Reverend Dr. William Leonard, to come and lead us in a word of prayer. Please remain standing, and together let us pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Mr. Chaplain.
Hearts and minds together, let us bow our heads. Gracious Father, we thank you for another day and for the bountifulness of all of your goodness. We thank you for the opportunity to come, Lord, and voice our opinion for the benefit of all of our citizens. We pray for our officials here and pray, Lord, that you would bless all of our citizens in Macon County and Tuskegee. Go with us and keep each and every one of us in thy care. And Lord, let the vision that you've provided for each of us be manifest here among all of us. In the name of Jesus the Christ, we pray. Now, Father, teach us to pray as you taught your disciples by saying all together, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Chaplain, and to your lovely wife as well, Nita. Thank you both for being here. And to all of you, thank you so much for coming. Mr. White, would you please join us? And also, I have a representative from the Department of Human Resources. Catherine, mistakenly, did she make it? She said she was going to make it. Yes, please join us. Department of Human Resources. I don't think all of the council members and the utility board members, all of them are going to be here, but I wanted you all to come so that you can help us respond to any questions that may occur. Honorable Council Person Whitehead and utility board members, we will hereby ask, let's see, do I have a clerk here? Clerk here. Oh, okay, Madam Clerk, please come and join us so that we can keep a record of any questions that may come. And we will note that we have present, this is Alla Whitehead, Honorable Council Member, District 2, the Honorable Harold Washington, member of our Utilities Board, the Honorable Jacqueline Gillette, our Secretary Treasurer of the Board, Utilities Board, and, okay, good. And Mr. Harvey Smith, our City Manager, and Mr. Gerald Long, our General Manager of the Utilities Board, and Mr. James Samuel, our Assistant General Manager of the Utilities Board. I asked Mr. Harold White to join us because he is the Executive Director of the Russell-Macon County Community Action Agencies, and we work with them hand in hand in dealing with assistance that is provided by the state through the Community Action Agency to help people with utility bills in the winter and in the summer. And thank you, ma'am. This is Miss Walker from the Department of Human Resources. They also, as you know, Department of Human Resources is always there if there's a dire emergency or some assistance that is needed from a person in the community. And of course, our city clerk, Mrs. Clark. So, we're prepared to move forward. This evening, we are here for the purpose of addressing the issue of utilities. It's an issue that's on the minds of all of us because we all, if we live in this community, have to pay utility bills, and questions have come up, and we want to make sure that we provide information for our citizens today. And we also, so on the utility side, it's utilities that we are going to address. And on the city government side, the issue of public safety is something that is of great interest to all of us. Crime is a serious challenge for in our community. And of course, the issue of streets, paving our streets and fixing our streets is a top priority. I'm sure there are other issues that may come up, but these are the ones that are most important. Board Member Gillette, I would like for you to come and just make some general comments to set the tone, and then Board Member Washington and Council Lady. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Just so we can set the tone for our meeting, just have a few little housekeeping issues we'd like to discuss. First of all, we want one of our first combined town hall meetings to be interactive. We want it to be professional, and we want it to be respectful of everyone. Then we also would like to have you to turn off all your electronic devices. Either turn them off, put them on vibrate, or silent, so that we won't be distracted when questions are asked. There will be a 3-minute limit for any questions or any concerns, and we will strictly adhere to the 3 minutes because, as you can see, we do have quite a few citizens here, and we would like to hear from each and every one of them if we adhere to the 3 minutes. So we will have, hopefully, our city clerk can try to keep up with the 3 minutes when they start speaking, and when you speak, give your name and hopefully your address or some way we can communicate with you. What do you like to have, Ms. Clark? Name and telephone number, that be sufficient? Okay. Name and address, they say, will be fine. So make sure when you come over to speak, give your name and your address. And we will notify you, when your 3 minutes are up. We don't want to be rude. We want to make sure that everyone have an opportunity to speak. And if time will allow, and you address the chairperson to come back and to continue your question or your concern, then we would acknowledge you, because we want to do it so that everyone have an opportunity to be heard. And only one person we're going to allow to speak at a time. We're going to be respectful of that. And no rudeness will be tolerated. We want this, like I said, to be professional, and we want it to be respectful. And I think we're all here for the same purpose, and that purpose is to help our county, our city, and our community grow and to prosper. And it's always been said that if you are not a part of the problem, the solution, you're a part of the problem. So I want to make that personal. If I'm not a part of the solution, then I am a part of the problem. So if each one of you could repeat the same thing, I think we'll have a very nice and a very respectful and a very productive and beneficial meeting. And on behalf of the Utilities Board of Tuskegee, I would like to thank each of you for taking the time and opportunity to come out and to voice your concerns and your issues, because we are here to serve you, the entire community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gillette. Board Member Washington, would you like any comments?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think this is very set guys very well, and I think we need to just proceed with.
Thank you, Your Honor. Council Lady Whitehead and Board Member Whitehead, would you like to make it?
I'd like to concur with what everybody's already said.
Okay, good. All right, so we are now ready to proceed. Mr. Samuel? Okay. He said that the mayor of Short is here, Mayor Powell. Yes, there you are. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Your Honor. Thank you. Are there any other mayors or any other elected officials who are here from any of the other cities or county government? We're just happy. Brother Powell, that's right, Councilman, His Honor. Thank you for coming, sir. Good. Now, why don't we just move right into the meeting? Let's begin with utilities, the utility issues. Agendas have been circulated. Mr. Long, our general manager, why don't you begin, and you and Mr. Samuel begin with our presentation.
Good evening, honorable board members and citizens and customers. My name is Gerald Long. I'm the general manager of the Utilities Board of Tuskegee, and I would like to welcome each of you to tonight's town hall meeting. I want you to know that as the general manager of the Utilities Board, I take my job very seriously, and I consider myself a servant of all the people, not just any special people, but all the people. And our desire from the Utilities Board standpoint is to provide quality service at reasonable rates. And I know during this last few months, some of our customers have received bills that they don't consider to be reasonable. And anytime our customers are impacted in that way, it impacts me because I want to serve our customers with dignity and honor. I want to make sure that the services we're providing are at a fair rate. I want to recognize the Assistant General Manager, Mr. James Samuel. I also have with me Larry Hale. Raise your hand. He's on the electrical side. Mr. Adam Woods is the superintendent over there, and Mr. Kenneth Sinclair. I also have Jared Clay, our CFO, with us, and Jared Poe, our electrical engineer. Most of you probably know by now we're in the process of installing smart meters. Those smart meters are different from the meters that have traditionally been on houses. The smart meters that are being installed are electronic devices that afford us the ability to have two-way communication from that meter back to us and from us to that meter. And that's designed to accomplish a couple of things. One, it's going to enable us to electronically read meters in the future. It's also going to provide us with the opportunity to be more proactive in providing you with information concerning your consumption. Because what drives utility bills, of course, are the per kilowatt hour rates and the consumption. Our per kilowatt hour rates are fairly comparable to both Dixie Electric and Alabama Power. Currently, our rate is about 11 cents, 12 cents per kilowatt hour. That includes a power cost adjustment.
Mr. Long, do you have copies of those sheets?
Yes, we can.
Please circulate it. We have those sheets for you so you can see what those rates are.
Yes, this
Make
is
sure that they all have it. Okay.
What we did was a rate comparison, and if any of you don't have that, we'll provide it to you. Yeah, and we do have them back on the table back there. And we compared our rates to Dixie Electric based on consumption of 2,165 kilowatt hours. And Dixie Electric bill at that rate at that consumption would be $231.28. Our bill at that consumption is about $35.75 higher. That approximates about a cent more than Dixie Electric. We compared also our bill to Alabama Power at a consumption of 1,109 kilowatt hours, and Alabama Power's bill would be $127.95 at that consumption level, and ours would be $144.10. Although ours is higher at those particular times that we did the calculation, which were for March bills, it fluctuates. Sometimes ours is lower, and sometimes ours is higher than theirs, but it's never significantly higher. And if anyone wants to see how I came up with these numbers, I can show you actual bills, and I can go through the calculation with you.
Let me also point out that for our section of Alabama, first of all, the state of Alabama is divided up into territories. For some time, we spent some time deciding and negotiating territories, and they were eventually voted upon and approved by the Alabama legislature. But the utilities that serve our area are Alabama Power Company, Dixie, and the UBT. We are the three that serve this general area of Macon County. Alabama Power Company, Dixie, and the UBT.
For those customers that have bills that are extraordinarily high, we have in place ways that we help. And one way we help is we provide energy audits. What that would do is a person will come out and actually look at ways that you may be driving consumption that's abnormal. And in some instances, we hire an independent person to do it. It depends on the situation and circumstances. We use a firm out of Montgomery that comes in and does a professional job of performing those energy audits. And sometimes we can do those internally. It depends on, like I said, the situations and circumstances. But we offer that to our customers that have bills that they feel are unreasonable. A lot of times what we find when we provide those energy audits is people, their air conditioning heating unit is malfunctioning. They may be using what we call space heaters to heat the house. Also, they may have insulation that's poor. They may have windows and doors that are just really heating the outside and not adequately keeping the heat inside or the cool air inside. So those things we will come out and do an energy audit and tell you the ways in which you are losing consumption and how you can put steps in place to reduce your consumption. We also have, for customers that have a high bill, we'll provide payment arrangements. If you can't pay it all at one time, we'll set up an arrangement with you where you can come in and pay in installments. We also have a plan that we call the AMP plan. It's an average monthly payment plan. And basically what that does is it's like a budget billing that Alabama Power has, where we average over a period of time, like 12 months or 13 months, what your consumption has been, and then or what your bill has been, and spread on an average basis your payments. We also have available where people can have auto draft, and I don't know if a lot of our customers are aware, but if you want your payments to be automatically drafted, we can do that. We have online payment options, and you can call in and make a payment, of course. As I said earlier, our energy is based on consumption. And in December, January, and February, we have some very cold days. In fact, those, I don't think I've ever seen days that were like that in my lifetime. For instance, in December, we had 8 days that were at or below freezing. That's not too bad, but in January, there are 31 days in January, 24 of those days were at or below freezing. And that drives consumption. And also, if you have a house that's not energy efficient, it's going to drive it even more because you're trying to stay warm. And in February, we had 11 days that were at or below freezing. But as I said, we want to do everything we can to serve our customers. We feel like we're in a service business, and the customers own this system. We don't own it. The customers own it, and we recognize that. And to the degree we're not serving you in a manner that you feel is appropriate. It affects us because we take our job seriously. We have a presentation that I want our electrical engineer to come up and do, Mr. Jerry Posey.
Posey, come on. Come right on. He's our electrical engineer. He's our technical person, so please go right ahead. It's going to be on the screen. You need a mic here. You can use my mic.
Good evening to everybody, Mr. Chairman and the utility board members and all of our customers, and we appreciate you folks being here. Gerald did a great job. He pretty well covered all the points I was going to make.
I figured that might.
I've had a terrible cold, so if you have trouble hearing, can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. This was just an outline that I had made. Gerald, James, can we get this front row of lights? Or at least the ones there at the screen. Just to outline there we go. Don't anybody go sleep in. Statistical information, a little bit of that, then we'll get into the other main items on the agenda. Talk a little bit about personnel staffing, just show you briefly how many people we have, that kind of thing. And then talk about the automated metering system that Gerald's already mentioned, and also a comparison of demands and what temperature does to electrical usage. And it applies to the gas just as well. The colder the temperature, if you got electric heat, the more your system's gonna run, the more heat you're gonna need to keep your house warm. And then we probably won't go into all these energy savings tips, but I made some copies, and I don't know if anybody did not get a copy of those. I've got a clipboard if I haven't lost it on the back table back there. If you would leave me your name and address, an email address, if you have one, I'll send you a copy. Some good points in those tips. So with that, here we go. Y'all may know some of this already if you've been to the UBT Academy, but our service area is about 103 square miles, 355 miles of distribution line, 10 miles of transmission line, 44 kV, 46 kV, 5 substations, and around 7,000 customers. And our peak demand in June of 2013 was 31,999 kVA. And we got about 11,500 poles, plus or minus a few.
Tell me what your acronym means,
Say again?
your acronyms that you use to let folks know what you mean.
I still didn't get the what?
Explain.
Kilowatt.
Mr. Posey,
Oh, you're talking about kilowatts and kilowatt kVA?
explain what kilowatt, kV.
Kilowatts or kilowatts, don't confuse kilowatts with kilowatt hours. Because a kilowatt hour is 1 kilowatt. If you got a 1,000 watt light bulb and you turn it on and it runs for an hour, then you use 1 kilowatt. Now that puts or 1 kilowatt hour. That puts a 1 kW demand. We're talking about kW, that's demand on the system. And kVA, factor in power factor that most of ours is unity anyhow. So the kW is essentially equal to the kVA. But there's a difference between kilowatt hours and kW. that answer your question?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Did? Another question?
Yes,
Go ahead. My point is that if you use an acronym, just say it's kilovolt, amperage, kilowatt hours, because everyone might not understand what you mean when you say KVA, MWH. So I'm saying, I know you're an engineer, but, explain the acronym.
Oh, sure, okay. Of course, KW is kilowatts, KVA is kilovolt amps. What else, what else did I need to?
Mr. Mosley.
Yes, sir.
For the benefit of the public, we have a question and answer period, so just make a note of any questions you may have, and we'll try to respond to those during the question and answer period. But please just go right ahead with your presentation, make it as brief as possible.
All right, we'll do it. Okay, I'll keep that in mind when I get into the rest of it. But these are basically the people we have, Alvin Wood and Larry Hill and his folks. We're all out there on Gautier Street. We have 24 people, line crew, engineers, GIS folks, and that kind of thing.
Sammy, come and help me.
Okay, Gerald already mentioned the Census FlexNet automated meter reading system. It does require that all meters be replaced. The old ones just will not work with the automated metering system. We've already got about 5,800 of them replaced, and some of the bills that you folks may have received, your old meter was bad. We ran into one that it was a double wide mobile home, only using 300 or 400, 500 kilowatt hours a month. And that meter was really way off. And we replaced it, and then we got an accurate reading. We like about 800 more residential meters. Have not started on the commercial or demand meters yet. And each meter is tested for accuracy before it's shipped from the factory. Okay, James, next one. When I was trying to get ready for this thing's still not quite close enough, James. I got it close. Looking at demands, for December 2012, January 2013, February 2013, comparing that to the same information in 2013 and 2014, and looking at the kilowatt demand, you can see, and the Decembers are fairly close. Okay, when you look at the Decembers, they're fairly close as far as kilowatt demand. Also, kilowatt hours are fairly close, even though December was a pretty cool month. But when you look at January, I think you can see those numbers.
Yeah, you can see them. Read them.
Sir?
Read them.
Okay. Looking at January 2013, our system demand was 27,688. Our January 2014 was 29,644, which is a sizable increase, a big percentage increase. Also, if you look at the kilowatt hours for January 2013, in January 2014. 2013, we had 13,778,000 kilowatt hours. In January of 2014, we bought 16,570 kilowatt hours. Sizable increase, about 3 million, close to 3 million more kilowatt hours. And in February, fairly close, not a whole lot of difference. February is a little bit higher on demand, a little bit less on kilowatt hours. February 2013, demand was 25,688. February 2014, 26,165. And then kilowatt hours were for 13 was 12,874, and kilowatt hours for 2014 was 12,260, without 260. Okay. What's the next one, James? Looking at some weather data there. I got this information from probably the same place Gerald got his. I got mine from the Maxwell Air Force Base website, their weather station out there. If you look at the temperatures, just look at the average temperatures and the minimum temperatures. If you look at 2012, the average in December was the maximum was 65, minimum was 43 degrees. If you look at the 2013, December 2013, average was 60 degrees and average maximum, and 40 degrees minimum. Or I'm sorry, 26 degree minimum. For January 2013, average was 62 max and 43 minimum. And then the minimum was, minimum max was 46 compared to 29. Now, if you look at January 2014, the average was, average max was 50, average minimum was 28, and then the minimum for 27 and 12. So January was extremely cold. I don't think everybody remembers that. I certainly do. This is for the month of February 2013 and 2014. Those are pretty comparable. February was slightly cooler, but not the big difference that January was. Okay, where are we, James? This is the information that Gerald has already passed out. So we'll just bypass that. You already have a copy of that. Next thing is energy saving chips. And I don't know if you want to spend the time to go into there or not. There's a lot of tips when there are copies here.
Do they have copies?
Everybody have a copy? Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, that was really all I had. That was yeah, that was okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next time we'll have that printed out report. Now let me, one thing that I do want to, from a factual standpoint, I want to ask Mr. Long, who served with Mr. Ennis in the past administration, tell us about the rates. When was the last time rates were increased or adjusted? First of all, let's talk about how the Utilities Board came up with the rate structure, what kind of rate study was done. But the one thing that I want to make clear here is that this administration has not increased the rates. I want to make sure we're clear on that. So let's share the facts in terms of the rates. You all having a conference over there?
Our rates are designed by an external firm out of Montgomery, Alabama, Jackson Thornton Consulting. And basically what they do is they perform a rate study. And the last rate study we had performed was in 2011.
Say that again now. I want you to make sure that you're clear on this.
The last rate study that we had conducted was in 2011. And a rate study is performed to design rates that recover the cost of operating a system or systems. And like I said, they performed that rate study in 2011, and the rates were put into effect, I think, in 2012.
2012.
So our rates are still the same as the rates that were put into effect in 2012. With the exception of our sewer rates, and I'll let Mr. Samuel explain those.
But
The last-
before you explain it, but that decision also was made
Part of the rate study.
by the rate study and the previous administration.
The previous board adopted a rate structure for water and sewer. In that, with the sewer, they made an increase, $3.50 per year every October, up to 2015. That is for two-part reason is the sewer operation is costly, and the way we have number of customers who are in the sewer system is less, so we have to share the burden. Plus, the ADM and ADECA have given refusal to give a permit for one of our sewer plant, saying that it is out of date, and in order to update that sewer plant, the UBT have to spend more than $15 to $18 million. So we floated another way to take the water, sewer wastewater from south plant to the north plant. We are running pipes to the extent of 10 miles, which we floated a bond in order to cover that bond also. But this board has got nothing to do with that. That was adopted by the previous board, and every October, the $3.50 increase. Apart from that, as Mr. Long indicated, there's no increase in any other services from October 11th onwards. When we say that it was increased in 2012, we meant that the budget for UBT goes from October to September, October 1st to the September 30th of 2012. That's the time when the rate increase. Actually, if you take it, it's not a rate increase. What we did is, we used to have two different rates in the electrical side. One is for summer rate, one is for winter rate. There's a summer rate up to 1,000 kilowatt hour. Anything above 1,000 kilowatt hour, that will be a different rate. So when the cost service was started, they combined that as one rate instead of having two rates, so that the system will maintain the same kind of revenue level, which will not decrease or increase at any given time. Thank you.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Does that complete your comment?
That does.
Okay. Again, let us emphasize that an objective rate study was done by a firm, Jackson Thornton. We're a part of the Alabama Municipal Electric Authority, one of 11 cities who work together. And these firms who do rate studies are recommended by AMEA. The rate study was done. The Utilities Board at that time decided that was the proper thing to do, and that's what they did. Let me also emphasize the point that the environment is very, very important. The South Sewage Treatment Plant, which was built back during the 70s through federal grants, discharged into what is called Line Creek. When you leave Macon County going into Montgomery County, you cross a creek. Line Creek is the tributary, it is the creek that runs into that waterway. And the discharge was not adequate. We were not meeting environmental standards. Therefore, the Attorney General of the state of Alabama and the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, those two literally sued or took state action against the Utilities Board, requiring and demanding that the Utility Board do something about the polluting of the streams, which is something that all of us, I'm sure, is concerned about. The quality of water, all of these streams are interwoven, as you know. For example, we take our water from the Tallapoosa River. Upstream from us is Tallahassee. So I say to Mayor Bobby Payne, I'm concerned about your treatment capability that you discharge in the creek above the city of Tuskegee, where we take our water from the creek. So environmentally, all of this is overseen by the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, and the Attorney General's office enforces that. So they forced the Utilities Board to do something about it. Essentially, we had to abandon the South Sewage Treatment Plant and float a bond for approximately $10 million so that we could now run new pipes from what was the South Sewage Treatment Plant 10 miles north through the town of Franklin to the north wastewater treatment plant. Both the wastewater treatment plant and the wastewater treatment plant are both located on the Tallapoosa River. So we're in the process of doing that now. And the rate adjustment that was made by the board at that time was done in order to cover the cost of that major project, which the board was required to take care of. So the sewer rates are the rates that are paid by those sewer customers in the city who were on that particular system. If you live in a town of Franklin or some other city and you're not on the sewer system, so you do not share that particular cost. It's an overall cost that the system has. The other point that I want to stress, there was considerable discussion last year. Well, how long have we been in office? I guess a year and a half. When we first came into office, there was a great discussion about the franchise fee in terms of what the franchise fee should be and whether or not, if the franchise fee was 3% or 5%, if that cost would be passed on to the customers outside of the city of Tuskegee, and if indeed their rates would go up in other cities such as Shorter or Franklin and other areas. We are here tonight to make sure that you understand the fact that the franchise fee is 5%, which includes privilege license as well as franchise fee of 5%, of which a utility is able to charge 3% on franchise, 3% on privilege license. So that is being charged, wherein the utility pays the city of Tuskegee, which is the city that established the utility system. It is a city that originally owned the system. And the only reason we have a utilities board in the first place is to make sure that we're able to float bonds, and for a utility board does not have a debt ceiling or a debt limit in terms of floating bonds. Its debt capacity is much more flexible than a municipality, so cities establish utilities board. But everyone needs to understand that it is the city of Tuskegee that built the system, own the system, and of course, it is the Utilities Board that runs the system and has a responsibility. But the city of Tuskegee is the one that the franchise fee is paid to the city. And that franchise fee that is paid by the Utilities Board has not caused anyone's rates to go up in Shorter or Franklin or anywhere else on the system. The cost for franchise fee comes out of the general operational cost, revenue generated by the utility system. And the system, of course, generates revenue in several ways. Number one, electrical rates, water rates, sewer rates, and also, we also have utility poles that Charter Cable leases from the city of Tuskegee, and therefore we generate revenue in that fashion. There are a number of ways, and let me also state that today we had our auditor here with us, and I'm pleased to indicate to all of you that we had a clean audit. And what does that mean? It means that there were no exceptions, that we abided by the financial practices and rules and regulations, and that we had a clean audit, and that audit is available for public inspection. It's a thick document, but anyone who wishes to see our annual audit, all of this is public information. In other words, we want our citizens to know that we are transparent and we're open to public scrutiny at any time. Now, the smart meter. Tell us about the smart meter.
Thank you, Madam Citizens and our customers, as Mr. Long indicated earlier, we are moving towards a smart meter where we don't have to send a human to go and read the meter. It transmits the information once in 4 hours. When we get the information, all the data, it gives you per hour. Every hour by hour, we can show you when you have this meter. There are 2 sets of meter on the electrical side. One is a disconnect meter, one is a non-disconnect meter. There are some meters, some apartments, most of the rental apartments will have a disconnect meter. What that does is, we'll be able to disconnect from the office. We don't have to send anybody over anywhere to disconnect. The other one is the 800 series, which it transmits, communicates 2-way. We can get your reading at any given time when you walk into the customer service and ask, what's my reading today? At that time, if you have a smart meter in your house, we can give a command and get a reading. The smart meter, nothing but, it's a regular meter which has got a memory chip inside. Some of the customers feels that this has got a camera and that we'll be able to monitor or report to the federal government or anything. No, sir, ma'am, this is only a meter. And I'm not joking. That's a water meter which is in that shape, and a customer called my water department foreman, come here, why you put up camera in my yard? So the foreman, Mr. Al Howard, had to go physically to go and show there's not a camera, this is a smart meter that gives to read for the water. And that's the way we do that. If we have this disconnect meter, when we go into the smart meter, probably within 2 to 3 months, the utility board is going to give 2 kinds of service. One is you can get prepaid. As you go by, you can go ahead buy for $200 worth of service for 10 days, 20 days, how you use it. And when it comes to a certain level, automatically the system will send you an email saying that you have to update. And if you don't update it, automatically it disconnects. Then you call and pay some amount, it automatically reconnects back. The people who can, we are not going to force everybody to be in there, but there are going to be like rental apartments and certain customers may be in that category. Others who are not in that system will have myusage.com. If you go into that one, you'll be able to see the usage of your daily usage. You can set up your own parameter saying that, hey, if it goes beyond 2,000 kilowatt hour, send me a bit, email me. So it will send. That'll give you a warning saying that you're using more energy and your bill, watch out, your bill may go up. So those are the kind of service which we'll be able to give with a smart meter. And not only with that one, once this is implemented, if somebody steals, first of all, they cannot pull the meter, they have to break the meter socket to get it. But once it is done, if I take it to my house and put it, it's not going to work. And it's going to beep over here, hey, I'm in the wrong place. So that the stolen meter situation is going to be avoided. And as we go into that software, we'll be able to have downtime management. Okay, if the electrical service is going to go out on certain areas, we'll be able to inform our customers who are living in that area saying that it will be out for a couple of hours. The same way water, if we fix a water line somewhere, we'll be able to do that or that. So that is the biggest one. We are going into it, and this will take at least another 2 to 3 months to implement that my usage and prepaid.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Savage. Now, very quickly, Mr. White, we're delighted to have you here. Could you just take a few moments and explain, and of course, you know we've tried to get as much money as we could from the state, and of course they've been limited, but if you could kind of share what we have been able to get from the state and how that works for some citizens who need assistance. As we indicated earlier, first, come and see us and we will try to work out something. Well, the first thing we do, come and see us, we want to make sure it's correct. We don't want to ever overcharge anyone or make a mistake. We're all human here, but if a mistake is made, we are professional enough to acknowledge that and we will correct that. That's the first thing we want to do. But if the bill is correct, and if you are a senior citizen or a low-income person, we then try to refer you to the Community Action Agency and we work hand in hand. Mr. White.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, to the city manager, members of the utility board, and all others who are present, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harold White. I'm the executive director of the Macon Russell Community Action Agency here in Tuskegee. One of the programs that we have with Community Action is what's called, the acronym is LIHEAP. It's Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. What that program does is to assist citizens with their utility bill. Not all citizens, however. Citizens have to qualify just like they do for any other programs. Some citizens are not very happy when they don't qualify, but the ones that do qualify have to meet certain qualifications. I have two of our staff that handle the program on a regular basis, and I'll ask them to stand, Ms. Macon and Ms. Williams, who do the intake work for the energy program, and they can tell you a lot better than I can the ins and outs. They do have some flyers just like this that will explain the basic program. The qualifications are listed on the back. What we try to do to keep the program running smoothly is to make sure that citizens are aware of the material that they need to have when they come into the office. If you don't have the proper information that you have, that you need when you come into the office, that slows the process down. In the past, in some cases, we've been able to contact certain offices and have them fax information over to us that you should have brought when you came to get the services. We can no longer do that. We operate under ADECA, Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, and CSBG, which is the Community Service Block Grant. This is how we get our funding. When we take applications from clients, the information is input into the computer. The computer that is used is called Fax Pro. The Fax Pro computer relays the information that we put in for the clients directly to the state. If there are any inconsistencies, if somebody's social security number is incorrect, then it will pick that up automatically, and we will be notified. If we make an award to someone who is ineligible, or if they've been awarded too much, the system picks that up also. Here's the problem. If we award you too much, we can't pay that overage out of the federal funds that we receive. We have to pay that out of any local funds that we receive. So what we try to do is not make those type mistakes, and we have made some in the past. But it's very important because we want to serve all eligible clients. We sometimes make provisions for the elderly. We have senior citizens sites in both Warrior Stand and at Prairie Farm. And also the Tuskegee Senior Citizen Program also provides applications for senior citizens that may need assistance, and they get those applications to us. Actually, we have in Macon County only a staff of 3 that deal with the entire county in processing those applications. What we're trying to do now is to make sure that we can address all citizens that are requesting services. Some that don't qualify, then we want to be able to tell you that you don't qualify, I'm sorry, we cannot serve you. If you do qualify, then we'll tell you you do qualify, the amount that you qualify for, and we notify the utility company once we have verified all the information and indicate to them that we will pay the utility bill, whether it's Superior Gas, UBT, or some other vendor, that we will pay that utility bill. We may not pay the whole bill. You may not be eligible for your entire bill to be paid, but whatever you're eligible for, then we will award that amount. We don't award it to the citizen seeking assistance. It goes directly to the utility company. And we have actually from 30 to 60 days, I believe it's 30 days, to actually pay that. What we do is call in what amounts to a voucher, indicating that we will be responsible for John Doe's bill in the amount of X amount of dollars. If citizens are not satisfied, they think that they've been mistreated, or whatever the case may be, they can get a hearing. They can request a hearing in writing. We will respond to the request and set up a hearing for citizens that feel they have not been treated fairly. Once they have gone through the hearing process, a determination is made whether or not we were at fault or the person requesting the service was at fault, and we proceed from there. That's basically what we do as with the Energy Assistance Program. There are other programs that we operate, but since we're here with the Utility Board and Mayor Ford and others that requested that information, we wanted to provide that information to you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you. And how much approximately this year you all have been able to share with our citizens? Approximately.
Okay. Again, I'll call on the young ladies that handle that directly, and they can give you more accurate information.
Okay.
Ms. Macon.
Good afternoon, good evening. We serve 2 clients, Macon and Russell County, but just for Macon County, we have spent approximately $91,000 for crisis heating and approximately $126,000 for regular heating. We also have a fund that's called ABC, and we spent around $3,000 for heating with Macon County citizens this year.
And again, those acronyms, ABC is for Alabama Business Charitable Trust Fund, and also you heard her mention crisis cases. Crisis means that the individual's utilities are cut off or in the process of being cut off, and that is considered a crisis. People come in for appointments, to make appointments, and this year so far we had appointments that stretched over into April for the heating season. And we try to get everybody in, but we have to go by the funds that we have available also. So when those funds run out, we have to call individuals and say, okay, we know you had you on the list, but those funds are depleted for that particular program. If your utilities have been cut off, then if we have crisis assistance funds left, then we can assist you in that area.
And during the summertime,
we have the cooling program, and it works in the same fashion as the heating program. We have the crisis cooling, and we have the regular cooling. Again, Ms. Macon or Ms. Williams, would you like to enlighten them on that?
Those you that have handed out that tell you that we're going to actually start scheduling for the cooling season, April 14th, but the appointments will not actually begin until June. That's when we receive the funding for that program.
okay? But right now, we're trying to get through the winter.
Right.
Okay.
And just one more
Go
point.
ahead.
One of the problems that we encountered, because we have such a limited staff, was several of the clients said, well, I just can't get that number. I call your number and I can't get anybody. And it was because the entire agency operated on basically 3 lines. And we, as I said earlier, have more than one program to LIHEAP, but during the peak season, everybody's calling in trying to get appointments at the same time. We think that we have addressed this issue because we now have an automatic scheduler where people can call in during the cooling season 24/7 and make appointments. That should eliminate, hopefully, the problem of people saying, well, I can't get the line, because when you have transportation, nutrition, and other programs and only 3 lines and no secretary, but we do have voicemail, it's understandable that people couldn't always get the line and talk with the live person because the lines were indeed busy.
And Ms. Walker, if you could please, I know that from time to time there are serious crisis situations in the Department of Human Resources. There you go.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, UBT Board members, and other platform guests. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kenyatta Walker. I'm the resource developer for Macon County DHR. My director, Ms. Linda Bibb, could not be present tonight, so I'm sitting in for her. We do provide assistance for utility bills on an as-needed basis in case of an emergency. You can come in or you can call our main line, 725-2100, and ask for an intake worker. Every case is viewed and assessed on an individual basis. We may determine that you are eligible for a portion of your bill, or we may be able to assist with the entire bill, but again, it is based on an individual basis. There are certain requirements that you must bring in. If you're coming in reference to your bill, the bill must be in your name. You must be that person that's coming in to talk about the bill. We ask that you bring your original bill with you and all other bills that you have in your household, and we do an assessment on an individual basis. Everyone will not qualify. Everyone will not qualify for the same amount. Again, it is on an individual basis. If all of your options have been exhausted with other resources such as community action, or if you're unable to make the payment arrangement and it is detrimental that you have your lights on at all times, whichever one needs their lights on. But we make certain situations, certain circumstances that we will provide and pay for your bill. Again, we will not give you, the customer, the money. We pay it directly to the UBT board. We will do a guarantee letter. We will call over and let the UBT know that we are paying Jane Doe or John Doe's bill and what amount we will be paying. And then if we're not paying the entire bill, you will be left with your portion, and you will have to pay your portion first, or make payment arrangements to pay your portion before we will pay our portion. Our funds come from the state, and they again are limited funds. We do not have a stockpile of money at the department where we're just able to pay unlimited bills. We only will pay a portion, and it again is on a individual basis. But you may come in or call at any time. You don't have to have an appointment. If you've received your light bill today or tomorrow and you know that you're not gonna be able to pay it, you don't have to wait. You can come in or call. We do walk-in, so you don't have to have an appointment.
Okay, good. Let's give all the presenters a hand. We want to thank them for this information. Now, we want to open it up for any questions that any of you may have. The other two items that we are going to address tonight for the city is public safety and streets. However, since we're on utilities, why don't we pause now and see if there are any questions or suggestions? You first? Okay. Go ahead, though. Whoever was first.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
My question is, my name is Marion Woods.
Yes.
And my question is, I've been here over 30-some years.
Sure.
And we haven't had a budget plan yet. Most companies you do business with has a budget plan, which means that the citizens would know each month what their payments would be instead of getting a ridiculous bill. I got it. And they were saying because of this little sheet.
Sir.
But that's what I want to answer to.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, let me again, maybe he didn't hear, so would you again please explain to the public what our budget program is?
We do have a budget plan available to residential customers. It's called an AMP plan. It's an average monthly payment plan. And what it's designed to do is to more or less levelize a person's bill. So that plan is available to residential customers.
So we do have...
And to get on that plan, you just come into our business office.
Okay. Mr. Edwards?
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Dothrell Edwards. I've got property at 507 South Dam Street. First, I'd like to give a compliment to each and every one of you all. I think this needs to be done once a year, but a citizen of Tuskegee will know exactly what's going on and exactly understood all the rules that goes on in Tuskegee. Okay? The thing that
I'll be happy to do it as often as necessary.
Normally, I'm up here complaining, but this time I'm giving some appraisals, okay?
That's all right.
This here is a piece of wire that came out of a building a half block from here, Fairfield building, okay? The wiring in most buildings in Tuskegee is so old that all the utility, all the current goes in the wall. This is why you have fires that breaking in the ceiling and your walls and stuff. Now, I talked to a couple of people that work for the city. They said they have someone comes in, and I think Ms. Long, you mentioned a few minutes ago, that can come in and do an audit. Okay?
Yes.
Most cities that I've been working with and have worked with that has an audit, then they have a grant where you can get some money for the property owner, or not the people that's renting. Okay? I heard the gentleman up here a few minutes ago talking about you all gonna pay for the rental thing. If you can cut down on the utilities, then you won't have to even use that much money to pay for the utility part. This here is the old wire. This here is the new wire. Okay? Now, at Terrafell, they rewind everything in there. So,
you mean the restaurant, the Teleparos? Yes, okay, right, where the restaurant is going.
that's right.
Yes.
Now, I talked to the electrician today. Now, the problem that you need to do is your inspector, when he goes out to inspect a home, is make sure that they have been rewired. Now, a lot of us in this room here probably still have fuse boxes or fuse in the area, okay? Those things have been outdated since 1978. You're supposed to have breakers, okay? And you're supposed to be rewired. A lot of places don't have the 3-prong plug-in walls that plug into your walls. Those there are outdated. If you do that, what happens, if you plug in that heater, sooner or later it's going to get so hot in this wall that it's going to catch the house on fire. Now, I talked to a citizen today. He has 5 heaters that he eats, and he leaves his on all day long. And this is one block over. Okay? So the problem is we create most of the problem ourselves. If we can correct that part and get some money for the people that own the property to update them, then I don't think we'll have this problem. So I'd be glad to work with you. I've worked with other cities and stuff for years for this part. But I want to give a compliment that the city, the utility department is doing an excellent job, okay? And the reason why I know this, your previous general manager, my relatives, trained him.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dunn. All right, next, come right in. Take your time, take your time.
No, that's okay. I work in the VA hospital. My name is Willie Wheeler. And
Wheeler.
I live on 1505 McCall Street.
McCall.
Yes, and I've been staying in Tuskegee off and on since 2010. But I really like the convenience of staying here. I want to live a mile from work and everything. But what has put a bad taste in my mouth, and I was hoping to hear something to alleviate that here this evening, except for maybe the audit, because I'm planning on moving, because I can't afford to pay the bills that I got.
Okay.
But I don't want to pay. But maybe from what Mr. Long said about the energy audit, maybe I'm willing to try it.
Please.
Before I actually leave. Because
Please.
I have 3 bills for the 3 months, and I'm getting to Tuskegee $1,400. I have
Yeah.
2 $600 bills.
Okay.
And the one I paid was for 4.
Right.
So that's bad.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't, before you leave.
Yes, sir.
Right. And you're not the only one. And I looked at my bills for the last, well, February and January. And then I saw the one today, which was for $148 or something like that. But the previous month was $300 or $400. Excuse me.
Right. But what needs to be said, Your Honor, is that, now, I don't know about everybody else.
Well, the point, let me just say this, sir. Would you please let us come out and audit for you?
Yes, I try.
Okay. Fine, thank you so much. All right, next person, Councilman. Please.
Hey, I'm sorry I was late.
That's okay.
Hear all of what Mr. Assembly was saying about the utility, but I'm Melinda Thomas, 611 Hayden Drive. I've been having problems with my utility over there. The bill, $1,030. I'm on a budget income.
Yes.
And that's ridiculous. And I went out and had the work did that Mr. Assembly told me to have done as far as trying to make sure that it wasn't nothing with the house.
Right.
But $1,030.
Yeah. That is serious.
I have other bills, and that's kind of painful there. And so the utility base, I think what he was explaining, the utility board people had came out and they put in a base in my basement and on the outside. I guess it was outdated.
Yes.
We had all that did. Also, the switch, before they did all that had shut down because it would have caused a fire. And I was without heat. That was last year. For about 2 weeks or so in the cold and whatever. And then after that, they put that little device there to try to, test it and stuff. And they finding out something was running in the house or whatever like that. But I still went and talked to Mr. Summers about it. I said,
please.
I don't understand this. I mean, it's just $1,030. That's just ridiculous.
Okay, hold that point. Are you familiar with this particular incident?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, use the mic, please, sir.
Yes, yes.
Excuse
Yes, Mr. Summers.
Go ahead.
The customer did come to the customer service,
Right.
we talked to her.
Several times.
Yeah, last year we put a test meter, okay, to find out anything wrong.
Ma'am, just let him respond.
And the engineer, everybody got with her. And this time, I told her to talk to the landlord, whether they fixed everything, what we showed the problem last year. And she's supposed to check with her and get back to us, and that's why I'm waiting on her.
Okay, so now will you please get with her? Matter of fact, before you leave,
Yes, sir.
make sure the two of you are, because $1,000, that certainly does not sound normal, okay?
Thank you.
And let me just simply say this to all of you all. One of the things that we stress is that we are as serious as you are about this. We're trying to do the best we can. We are human, we make mistakes. But if we do, we will be the first one to correct it. And if we find that you were overcharged, we will also make the necessary refund. The last thing we want to do is to make an error. So, ma'am, would you please, Mr. Samuel, gentlemen, pay attention over here. Please, let's get with, make sure you get with her. Okay? Ma'am,
Yes.
he's going to get with you. Okay?
All right.
Thank you. Next person. Councilor Fowler.
I'm coming tonight, not as a councilman, but as a
Individual.
customer of UBT.
Yes, sir.
Yes. But my main concern, yes, you all have did a good job, I mean, you know, with UBT, but my main problem is some of those horror stories that I've been getting almost on a daily basis that people been calling me about, you know, how utilities and stuff. And I understand, you know, things might change, you know, when it get cold and stuff like that. But we went through a terrible time. Mr. Long said that almost 28 days, almost 30 days of just solid cold weather, you know, around freezing. But now, if we are so concerned, I heard a lot of concern about our citizens, elderly, sick, and all that. If we are so concerned, why would we dole out money to charities and up the bill on the other hand, up the utility bill on the other hand? I think we ought to show some kind of equilibrium or something in our
Thank you.
management and be concerned. And by the way, Mayor Ford, I love you. But
It's mutual. I love you too.
The south sewage plant was being discharged into Calibre Creek and not Lime Creek.
Okay.
But that also uncrew that was said tonight, but we'll deal with those later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let me just simply say this. As Mr. Pollard indicated, I have the highest respect for him, and I hope it's mutual, as you said. This is nothing personal. But Mr. Pollard, I'm glad you raised the issue about the charities, because Alabama Power. Listen.
I have no problem with donating charity, but I think the timing was way off.
Okay.
I think it needs to be a situation where you set your priorities in order.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Thank you. Let me just simply say again, this utility board does not apologize for working with charities. For just one moment, ma'am, just have a seat. And the reason being is we have 60 charities that have been cut off, that had been served and benefited by Victory Land. Victory Land, which all of us who had an opportunity to vote on, has been taken away. And those 60 charities, nonprofit organizations, many of them have fell on hardships. But we don't apologize for making contributions to nonprofit charitable organizations which make positive contributions to this community. Now, in terms of timing, that may be debated, but we stand behind and with our charities, and we hope that we can do more for charities. But because we contribute to charities, it has nothing to do with increasing your rates. Now, who is next? Please, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Patricia Brown and I live in Shorter.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
my question is, why is it that the higher your bill is, the higher your late fee? I mean, I've never been in a place that your late fee is just ridiculously goes up higher if you're late. You know, and the more your bill is, the higher your late fee is. Why is that? I've lived in other places and they just have one set late fee, and that's it. And we're already struggling trying to pay the bill, so why do we have to struggle with paying an extra late fee that's ridiculously high when your bill is already high?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Let me again say, this is not a pleasant situation for any of us, because no one wants to have to pay utility bills. And we have tried to explain to you why the bills are what they are, And we tried to explain to you ways that you may be able to adjust that. Now, your question about the late fees, all of this is based on a percentage. It's based on a percentage. Some cities or utilities may do it differently. Some may have a flat one, some may have a percentage. How do they do it with Alabama Power Company and Dixie? I'm just curious, the other two utilities.
You really don't want a late fee from them because they're higher than ours.
Okay, all right. Well, but at any rate,
they're typically based on a percentage.
yeah, so ma'am, if the bill is higher, it's on a percentage basis. So that makes, okay. Okay, and if that's something that you would want the board to take a look at, we can certainly take a look at in terms of whether or not it should, you know, it's best to do it flat or percentage. But normally, percentage, I think, is what most of the systems do. Yes, ma'am. Watch yourself.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First of all, having to run against Ms. Gillette for the utility board. My name is Lenora Good, and I'm a previous candidate for the utility board at one time. I did a lot of research. Trust me, they're on track. Okay, everything's fine with utilities. Okay, what our problem is, and everything that they're explaining when I did my research, kilowatt hours and all the numbers and everything they're giving you are exactly right. I mean, you know, everybody that knows me knows I don't lie. And I don't mind coming up here telling the truth about things, okay? So the utilities are what the utilities are. Let me tell you where the problem is. I believe in less is more and more is less. What that means is that the less people that we have in Tuskegee, the more our utility bills are. The more people that we have, the less our bills will go down. It has to do with economic development. We're talking about revenue that comes in. Some of that can be offset, you know, with some of our utility, as far as incentives and those kind of things, you know, to promote businesses coming in. Every time people leave, somebody's got to pay for these guys' salaries, you know, all the different benefits. There are low cost, blue shield type benefits for the employees. You know, these are the kind of add-on things that if we weren't paying that, then these folks wouldn't have a job that are giving us the service, if I'm not wrong, okay? I mean, that's what I analyze it to be, okay? And, you know, we have to try to keep people in town. Because until we get some other kind of jobs, besides worrying about one issue or whatever, and bring in some other type of manufacturing and other kind of folks into town, then we're not going to be going anywhere. We need a plan B, C, and D. So we need to just go forward and move on and get past that in the meantime.
Yes, ma'am.
Let that go ahead and sort itself out and just move on to another area, you know what I'm saying, and get some other kind of manufacturing businesses or whatever,
You're right
factory,
about that.
hand knitting, whatever,
Right,
you know,
right.
whatever we can get in here to accommodate the people that are qualified, you know, to do the jobs.
Well,
And
one
other
thing-
than that, the utility and the city's doing the best.
One thing we know about you is you speak your mind.
Yes, I do,
We
Mr.
appreciate
Ford.
it. You don't sugarcoat it. Thank
No,
you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, yes, please, ma'am. And then we want to go to the public safety and streets. Please, ma'am, come. While she's coming, is there any other person who wishes to speak?
Hello. I'm fairly new to this area on the southeast of America and to Tuskegee in specific. Oh, yes. My name is Ms. Brown. And I was wondering, because of the shortness of time.
Shortness of the time?
Yes, sir. Could we have another town meeting where we can address some citizens' suggestions, ideas, and collaboration with these faith-based organizations and come up with some energy assistance so no lights are turned out?
Okay.
And maybe we can have a stay on disconnects because of the hardship in this town and show love to the people of this town.
Okay.
And not turn the lights on people with wheelchairs and children who are on breathing machines, because that has happened already, and it looks like it may happen again. Thank you.
Ma'am, before you leave, come back. I'm glad you And please, those are the kinds of things that we particularly try to be careful not to do. Because I know there have been times when the lights have been out, and I've been out there with the men at night, and we've had people on breathing machines.
Yes, sir.
And our men would say it's quitting time. I say, no, it's not quitting time until I say it's quitting time, until we get these lights back on so we can get these breathing machines. We've saved some lives.
Thank you.
So if you know of an instance
Yes, sir.
that we have done something like that, please let us know.
It'd be my pleasure.
Yes, and we'll try to accommodate that. Thank you so much. Yes, please, just come.
My name is Rose Fraser, 611 Hayjack. Rose Fraser, 611 Hayjack Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
And my question is to Mr. White, how often can you apply for the programs that in the current months?
Again, I will refer to the young lady that handles that on a regular basis, but you can apply more than once.
Okay.
And that's why I say we have different programs. Some are crisis-related programs, and some are regular energy programs. So she will explain the difference in those two programs and let you know how many times you can apply.
Okay, because...
She's right beside you.
Oh, okay, the reason I asked is because my sister was up here earlier. I heard her in February, her bill was $1,030. In March, it was $820. And then this month, it was $538. That's $2,298. And she is disabled. So I want to know, what do poor people do to keep their utilities on? Because she's disabled, she's dialysis, so I was just wanting to know, can she come to your office and, you know, get assistance? You did say more than one time.
Yes, they can come more than one time, but you have to realize also it depends on the availability of the funds.
Right.
Because as I said before, normally we take appointments for the regular crisis assistance, and sometimes those appointments are taken, but we cannot get to all the clients because the funds for that particular program may run out before we get through all the appointments. So we will go back and call the individuals that we made appointments with to inform them that those funds for that particular program have run out. We do have crisis, et cetera, whatever the case may be.
I just wanted to know because I know most of the people in Tuskegee fall into her category. And I wanted to know, what do you do other than your program with DHR to help? Because the utilities are just too much.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Samuel, you're going to make sure you get with her, of course, right? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, please.
My name is Tamika Richardson.
Didn't quite.
We didn't hear.
My name is Tamika Richardson.
Mrs. Richardson.
I stay in Airport because I have a son that has asthma. He has to go on his machine every day. But my lights has got to turn off. But I have from last month, my bill is with this $713. With it added on with this month's bill, it's $1,220.
Okay.
So I have been, and when they got cut off yesterday, I came up here, I had fell asleep, but he was in a meeting, I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Sorry.
So they got cut off yesterday when I got off work, so that made me have to go to Union Springs to stay with my mom to come to Chris so he can get on his asthma machine. So I work at Tuskegee University as a waitress at hotel.
At the Kellogg? Yes, ma'am. So is your service off now?
Yes.
Please, Mr. Samuel, get with her as soon as you can. And you have...
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone, but he was telling me that if I come up with a payment plan, but I'm having to pay $450 for them to get turned back on. But I work, you know, at the campus, we get paid $2.35 an hour. I get paid every 2 weeks.
Ma'am, that's what he said. We'll work something out. Okay, please. We'll work. Your Honor, Mayor Powell, please. Please. Work.
Good evening.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Chair and
to all our utility board members, Attorney Gray and Sammy and everybody. I just bring from our citizens. Our average citizen insurer is paying a utility bill of $400 and up. My utility bill, for example, last 2 months, $1,300, $1,200, and that's with turning lights off as if I can't live with lights on. I'm going through the house saying, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. So if you come in my neighborhood, most of our people are in the dark because, and that's not a way we should have to live in Macon County. We should be able to turn a light on, you know, and be able to at least see each other. Half time, you know, you may not even know what you're eating because the lights are off. But I want to applaud you with what you have been doing, and I just want to invite you, if you would, so we can further this conversation in the time shorter.
We'll be happy to talk.
And so I get with you on that day and time, so you can talk directly to the citizens.
Yes,
because you can answer those. I got a citizen already.
Please.
And you've seen some citizens from Shorter coming up, so I can't answer the questions that you
We'll be happy
need to answer to them, okay? So I'm just praying that we can get together on the time.
No, we will do that. And Ms. Gillette, would you respond to that? Because you even suggested that we go to some of the other areas.
Mayor Powell, I would just like to say that since I've been elected to the utility board, that is one of my goals, is to visit each of the municipalities, Shorter as well as Franklin. And actually, we had our work session back in the latter part of January. We put on our calendar that we were going to contact, and I don't know whether it's been done yet, but we're supposed to contact the mayors of Shorter and of Franklin to arrange a time when we, the utilities board, can come out and be a part either of your meeting or a separate meeting for your constituents, because you are our customers, and we want to make sure that we come and have some one-on-one time with you all. If not on a quarterly basis, every 6 months, or whatever is good for you all. And I just want to say while I'm up here also about trying to economize our home. I live in a third of my house as well because my utilities bill is also high. And right, we all are right. So I'm just saying we all do what we have to do in order for our utilities. So if I'm living in a third of my house and 2/3 I'm not, that means that I'm not enjoying all the amenities of my home. So I think we all do what we have to do to cut our bills.
Okay, so now, Mr. Smith, and the police chief, the other item, incidentally, the other item we want to talk about is public safety and crime in this community, because this is a very, very serious issue. Oh, yes, okay. Yes, ma'am, please, please.
Elaine Shepherd, and I live at 704 Howard P. Carter Drive.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just want to clarify. So you're telling us tonight that there is a budget plan with the utility board, and that we can come next week and sign up for it?
Sign up tonight. We repeat again what the budget plan is.
I was told last week that there was no budget plan.
I don't know who told you that, but we do have a average monthly billing.
We'd be happy to.
So I just want to clarify that.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. We'd be happy. Yeah. Did you get her? You got her name? We'd be happy to do that. Okay. Now.
I got one question.
Oh, okay.
My question is, you're installing the smart meters. On the houses, it's a general question. On the houses in Tuskegee, wide for these meters, they're the latest technology meters. Are the older properties going to be wide for these meters?
Our goal is to wire all of the houses for the meters. In some instances, our crew, they're having to make some adjustments on properties, and they can speak to some of the things they run into when they get to the properties. A lot of times what we see is there are a lot of old properties. There are a lot of properties that are not properly insulated. They may not have windows that are energy efficient, double pane and so forth. So they are really not properties that conserve energy. But most of the houses that we've gone to, we have been able to install the new meters. I'll let
Mr.
Sinclair,
Woods,
can you?
would you,
Woods.
whoever, which one of you?
Mr. Woods.
Mr. Woods. Ms. Sam, give me the mic. Mr. Alvin Woods is our superintendent for the light department. Please.
Well, on some of the houses that we're running to, you probably have 2-wire services and 3-wire services. A long time ago, some houses was wired, they only have 120 volts in it. New houses have 240 volts. So some of the meter bases are 60 amp meter bases. They're the round meter bases that about the size of this meter. Back then, when you didn't have that much that was pulling off the houses, now you have central air, central heating, you have refrigerator, microwaves, and all that. Back in the 60s, when 40s, 50s, and 60s, when those houses were built, the consumption as far as amperage probably would be up to 60 amps. Now the average house that's built is built on 200 amp service. So you're taking all this new modern technology stuff and putting it in a house with a service that's only covers 60 amps. And it's heating the meter bases up. It's burning the wires just like
Mr. Edwards.
Mr. Edwards was talking about. It's heating the wires up. So what we're doing, when we get to the services that get ready to install the smart meters, we're changing the ones that we can. If you're able to change your own, we'll do it. We run into some citizens that can't afford to do it. We're changing the meter base out. There's no charges to the customer. We're changing them out. We're putting ground rods in and making sure that the meter is registered right and that it's capable of handling that service that we're applying to it. Our voltage coming into a service, 125 volts on each leg, 250 volts across both of the legs. So the power that's there coming into it is the problem that's coming in, the service that within the house is not capable of carrying all the load that the customer put in the house. Long time ago, floor model TVs that big, but they only consume a small amount of electricity. The newer TVs, the plasma, the HD TVs and all of it, they actually pull current. Typical way, if you want to just check and see exactly what your house, if your house is on breaker, go in, trip all your breakers off. Turn them on one at a time and watch to see what pulling, see what's causing your load to increase. Turn each breaker on one at a time. Turn that one on, see how your meter moves. Turn it back off. Go to the next one, turn it on, see how it moves. And then you can get down and start eliminating, see what's causing. We can come out and adjust it. We can come out and give you adjustment on a bill, but if we just give you adjustment on your bill, that's not solving your problem. You need to find what's driving your cost up. Once you find out what's driving your cost, then you can do something with it. Majority of the houses in Tuskegee, in Macon County, is poorly insulated. We don't care too much about conserving electricity. Went to a case a few years ago, a person calling about how their bill was. I'm in an apartment at Sojourner, and the electricity is just sky high. They had a caretaker watching over this one person. Middle of the summer, I get there, go to the apartment, door wide open, air conditioner running, and they wonder where the bill up. We got to learn to conserve ourselves. We can adjust stuff all day long. That's not fixing the problem. Until we get to the root of what's causing our energy bills to rise and fall like it do, then we're not happy. That's why we want to do the energy audits. That's why we have test meters. We can put them on, check, and see exactly what's causing these problems. Old services, they're just like taking getting a brand new car and taking an old engine with 100,000 miles and putting inside of it. You don't have nothing but something that looks good. It's no good on the inside. And that's how some of the houses are. We take it, we decorate them, and put them up. Unless you change your wiring, your AC unit, these are things that drive your energy costs. Your heating, your cooling, your hot water heaters if it's electric. We got microwaves. I mean, the lights and stuff that we're using, if we overload a circuit, have you ever plugged up an extension cord and walk out there and felt the extension cord getting hot? That means it's not capable of carrying the load that you're putting through it, so you lose it. Anytime something dealing with electricity heats up, anytime you feel heat actually coming from it, that means the energy is going somewhere. It's overloading your circuit. That's how you overload your circuit. But we're here to try to help you if you run into a problem. I'm one of the people, we have a few licensed electricians in Macon County. I'm one of them. Licensed, insured, and bonded.
All right.
So if I can do something to help you, if it's doing work hours, if you're a customer on the system, I'll come in there, I'll tell you what's wrong, and I won't charge you anything.
Okay. Board Member Watson, you have the floor. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, great. Well, you next, Your Honor. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, who was next? Tell me. Ma'am, you gotta go back to work. Would you get with her? Go ahead and get, yeah, he'll get with you now. He'll get with you. Yes, so you can go back to work. He'll get with you now. Who was next? I'm sorry. Who was next? Oh, please, all right.
If I could, I forgot, let me mention this. Mr. Mustafa Ali that was here earlier, that works with Mr. Haygood and them at the Community Development, they have a grant. They have, isn't that right, Mr. White? Do you know about that grant? They have a grant available that you can make an application if it meets certain, income criteria, that you can get things like what, that's Mr. Wood over there, wasn't it? Okay, that Mr. Wood was talking about, that you can upgrade your house. And it's quite a bit of money, that if you qualify, and also the veterans, if you're a veteran as well, if you don't, right. The weatherization program, and then CDC also has one at the community development. And you can get quite a bit of money. They do roofing, and they do your windows and doors and some wiring inside the houses. So you just go over there and apply, and you can get quite a bit of money. So.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Now, in the interest of time, could we please go to the city and the police department and streets, because I know citizens are concerned about those two. So, Mr. City Manager, if you want to come, and the Chief of Police is here. Crime. What are we going to do about crime and fighting violence and those kinds of things, which I know citizens are also very concerned about. So, Mr. City Manager, Chief, you want to come up? Yeah, you don't have to leave, but we're going to just talk about it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, Utility Board members.
Excuse me, point of special privilege. Honorable Mrs. Love, member of our school board, let's give her a hand. Thank you for being here. She also runs the water system. So you may join us if you like, or any comments. Thank you for being here. Proceed.
I'd just like to say that what the utility board is talking about is so well true. Even with those new meters there, you can also check to see if you have a leak, because it has a leak detector on that meter to let you know. So, a lot of people say we're cheating you and stuff like that. You're not cheating anybody. If you go out there and one of the guys goes with you, it's a little knob on your meter to show you that it's a leak detector somewhere and that the water is going through. I don't know if they forgot to mention this, but I think your meter had that on that, Gerald, don't you? Gerald? Do they need to have the leak detector?
Yes,
Yeah, you just look at that and it'll tell you if you have a water. I've been in the water system for 37 years, you all. Everything they have said, even on Allenwood there, they were saying that a lot of people that's on machines like dialysis and stuff, if you call the police department and let them know that you have a problem with your child or something like that, they're going to make sure your lights get on. I like to compliment them because I have a child, a grandbaby that's on machines too. And I just call Mrs. Sanders every time, and they're there. You have to let them know. They don't know if you're going to tell them. They don't know. So what they're doing a great job. I just want to let you know that you can find out about the water.
Thank you, Mrs. Love. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Mr. City Manager, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We in the city manager's office and the police department, we are very concerned about crime in the city of Tuskegee. And during this session, we're going to talk about some of the things that cause crime in Tuskegee and what we're doing about it. For example, some of the things that causes the crime are our dilapidated housing and the potholes in the streets where criminals tend to congregate at, where there's bad housing, bad holes in the streets. Now, there's a hotline that we have that if anybody see a crime in effect, don't be afraid to use that hotline that's out there. I don't know the number, the chief will give you that in a minute. But there are a lot of things that we can do to limit the crime in the city of Tuskegee. For example, we need a jail, so we can put some people in jail. We arresting and keep them in jail. We arresting people, they get arrested 30 minutes later before the police officer get out of the station. They out there on the street. So we got to find somewhere to put them. And that's a major contributor to crime. Then we got the shootings that happened in the various neighborhoods. And generally, most of the shootings happen in specific areas of the city. And right now we are beefing up our forces to patrol those areas of Tuskegee. And with the assistance of the Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies that the chief has rallied to his support to assist us in patrolling certain areas of town. But let me say this, crime is on the top of our list, and we are determined to decrease the amount of crime in Tuskegee. Now, I'll let the chief talk, and he'll tell you what specifically we're doing, and he'll give you the hotline number that you can call.
Good evening. The main thing, Mr. Smith has pretty much covered everything. We're doing our basic patrols that the police agency does. We're in the process of currently recruiting. The pay scale has been raised so that we can attract more people and retain those people once we get them on board. We are saturating our neighborhood with patrols. By that I mean we're increasing patrols in our neighborhood. We're putting forth efforts where, as Mr. Smith spoke of, where we're working, all the officers are coming in on overtime with the assistance of all the Sheriff's Department deputies. And we're working in these hot spots where we have these random shootings. Now, we have had some shootings. We have random gunfire. We have had some people who have been shot. We had a shooting as recently as yesterday where a 16-year-old shot another 16-year-old. We unfortunately, injuries was not life-threatening. We did make an arrest on scene. We made an arrest in the 2 shootings that we've had, 3 shootings that we've had in public housing. We've arrested several other people in reference to random gunfire. But the main thing we can do in terms of keeping the main thing you can do to aid us in keeping our community safe is to work along with us. We can't do it alone. We don't need you to call us and say we had this shooting down the street and don't want to leave a name or don't want to point out where it's coming from. If we come on your street, they're not shooting when we get there. If they are, then we will engage them, however it takes. But if we patrol through the street and then you'll complain and you'll say, well, a patrol car came by but they didn't stop, we have nowhere to stop. So therefore, we'll patrol to see if we can observe anyone, anybody on foot in a car, anything suspicious. Other than that, we cannot do anything. We have had some people to aid us. Ms. Willette stated earlier, and I stated at the last council meeting, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And if you know something, a crime is taking place, and you won't tell who's doing it, who's permitting it, you have to take a stance at some point. I don't care how many police officers we have, we only have 3. I won't tell you how many we have, well, I will, I'll tell you. We have about 3 officers per shift, okay? Right now, we're talking 4 shifts. We have an expansive area that we cover because we serve this police jurisdiction. So situations are so dire here that officers, they have to back each other up. So when you have a call like a shot fired call, especially down there, it takes two or more. And these kids are very brazen, they're bold, they don't care anything about their own lives, they don't care anything about us. We've been down on how Road, for instance, we've had to dodge them. And they don't care. And when I say we, I mean I was there too, chasing behind these knuckleheads. And they were right in there. That officer back there, Officer Boozer, can tell you the same thing. We run behind these fools, the hoodlums, and they're right in there turning, they're shooting. They don't care. But we need you all to assist us. Because you have crime everywhere, you have random gunfire everywhere. The main thing that most of your cities, well, the only city around here that uses it, is called a shot spotter system. And Montgomery Police Department has one. And it costs roughly $250,000. And they can pinpoint where a gunshot has come from within 5 feet. And it's again, like I said, it's $250,000. And during the past administration, I requested one. I knew I wasn't going to get it, but I put it on my list. But that's one of the things we need. But along that line, let me give you our secret witness line. This secret witness line is not like 911. If you call 911, it's enhanced 911, it's going to give you a name and address. So therefore, if you call, we will know who's calling. But we have a secret witness line. You need not do anything but tell us what crime is being committed. And it's 727-9865. 727-9865. It's a secret witness line. And we do have a system in place where we work with Crime Stoppers out of Montgomery. We have a crime that's been committed and you give us information, and that information leads to an eviction. You can be entitled to a reward. But in order to make our city better, we need you all to help us. We need your eyes, we need your ears, and we need your mouth.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Now, are there any questions about law enforcement? Mr. Edwards, and then we're going to deal with streets. Yes.
I'm not going to state the name again, but Dotell Edwards is the name. Just a suggestion to help Tuskegee and the police department. Neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
You need to upgrade that, okay?
Yeah,
now, I can tell you this right now. My vehicle out there's got a dash camera on right now that's filming all this out here. So when anybody comes to my thing, and I only paid $79 for it. Our neighborhood watch, we got 3 in each neighborhood. I'm on the board of directors for Montgomery out of 47 neighborhoods. And that's what we do. We work and get the neighborhoods to have 1 or 2 people that lives in the neighborhood that put a camera on their dash. And you ride around, and if you see somebody pushing a lawnmower, act like they're cutting grass or whatever, and bring it in your house, we already got films of that. We got pictures of that. So a suggestion when you have your neighborhood watch meeting, is suggest that somebody pay $79 or $80 for a dash camera and put it on your car, and then you'll be able to catch it quicker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Evelyn Nard, take your time.
You're very welcome.
Chief just said, well, I want to applaud you, first of all, for the 2% tax that that you proposed last year. I pushing for that.
And we thank you for that too, sir.
I'm glad that you used that very well because we got additional police force from that, I believe. I think it was 70 new officers on that. So that's where your money went with that 2% increase in tax. And also part of paid for street. Now, I'm concerned because there are 2 or 3 things that have me concerned in my heart today, and that is the individuals who are saying that they have high utility bills. Something is wrong, and I think Brother Samuel and also Brother Long on it. It's not so much our board meaning that something's doing something wrong. It's something wrong somewhere else. And we need to find out whether you have an all utility, all electric house, or whatever. Something is going on wrong. For your bill to be $1,200, $1,400. Yeah. Somebody else's bill is $200 or $300. And in the size of your house, if you got a 1,200 square foot house, and somebody else has a 5,000 square foot house, and their bill is not as high as yours, something's wrong. Being in real estate, I know that. All right, so basically, I think they're on it and need a task force to find out what is going on with people who have the high bills. Then I think the mayor would be looking to do that. The other thing is, with the police department, we need to help them. Because many of the houses that are here, like you said, many of them are better. And many of them are abandoned because, number one, people not gonna fix up their own property if for people to go in and break in and take things out. And for some reason or other, people are selling copper and other things in the house. Now, I've had 2 or 3 people go in 2 or 3 houses, and they strip the copper from the top to the bottom in the house. The house is very new, but when they get through it, you got $3,000 worth of electricity to do. So if somebody's buying this somewhere, what can we do as a city mayor and also to the utility to stop these people from buying this stuff for $30? And that's not a house. It's going to cost you $3,000. You follow what I'm
Good
saying?
point, good point.
So somebody is buying it, somebody somewhere. I don't know if some of the junk places are buying it, but they're buying that. And then too, the stolen, what is that? And also the stuff that's stolen from houses. Somebody's buying it. Otherwise, number one, they wouldn't be stealing. So somehow we can help them out by putting legislation into place by which we say, no, when you're not going to survive, if you catch you buying stolen items or stuff in Macon County, we're going to put a fine on you and put you in jail. I think that'll stop that.
Okay.
Help them out as well.
Well said. Thank you. Chief?
As you know, as you stated, there was a stolen copy of the problem, and it's being sold to legitimate businesses throughout this state, this county, and this state that are licensed by the state. Now, the Alabama Association of Chiefs of Police, this is a statewide problem, well, a nationwide problem. We have 438 chiefs of police that are members of the Alabama Association of Chiefs of Police, and this has been one of our major sore points in our discussions and our seminars, because every city in this state is affected by it. The legislature, as a result, put a law into place where you have to show identification now, but that has not curbed anything. That has not curbed anything, because a lot of the businesses are not. They're adhering to it, but when you're showing identification, then oftentimes the cameras are not working that good. They can't get the photos. And the main problem is if somebody steals a car out of a yard and they take it to one of these places, and there's no time limit that particular business has to wait before they can actually crush that vehicle. And the moment a person brings it there, they crush it. And we've had a lot of leads at a lot of these facilities. There's one out here in Franklin, there's one up on 280, there's one up on 29, Tallahassee, Montgomery, there's a number of them. And but we're really powerless to do anything, because once we get there, the stuff has been destroyed. We've been lucky that we have found something, and we've been able to take possession of it. But that is a statewide problem, and the legislature has they call themselves fixing it, but that's just like the handgun law. It really made it worse.
Okay.
And
Thank you for those points, and
one quick point.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Edwards said in regards to our neighborhood watch. We have roughly 10 neighborhood watch organizations within the city of Tuskegee, and they're very, very active. And I happen to live in one of those neighborhood watch neighborhoods. And I encourage every citizen to have a neighborhood watch in your community. But I must mind you, I must caution you, to have a neighborhood watch, your name on it serves no purpose. And a neighborhood watch is only successful if you want to be nosy. You can't say, I don't want to be concerned with what's going on next door, because we've actually had houses broken into where the people are in the house next door looking for them. And they don't call the police because they say, don't concern me. And it's sad. It's sad. But if you're going to have a neighborhood watch, again, I encourage everyone to have a neighborhood watch, a very active neighborhood watch. But if you don't want to be nosy, if you want to go in your house and close your blinds, your curtains, and turn a deaf ear into what's going on outside, don't waste our time. Thank you.
Ma'am, please.
I just wanted to say, I think it's to the city manager. I don't think the answer is to build more jails. You know, if we could get, like the scripture said, idle mind is the devil's workshop. Our young people are not working. If they had jobs or trades, like some of those used to be here, if they were going to school to get prepared for a job, then we wouldn't need as many kids. So I think that's the problem. I don't want to build more jails, because the statistics are still showing that there are more black men in prison than out.
Yes, well, we certainly agree with you on that.
Do that, that would help.
Yes, ma'am. Vocational and technical training. And the school board, of course, That's you all's area. Well, where are we? Did we get the streets?
Yes.
Streets. Yes, ma'am. Do you want to?
I'm just curious about something. There's something that I noticed that in Tuskegee, it appears as though Tuskegee is a parking lot. Every house has cars parked on the front, right on the front lawn. Is there an ordinance against that? Or is it, okay to park your cars on your front lawn? What it actually looks like it's doing is lowering the cost of the property, property value. And people from outside come in and see the park, the Tuskegee parking lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you?
There is an ordinance.
Now, the reason why we ask you to use the mic, everyone, is because we're recording this. And incidentally, we do have Channel 6 up and running now. It's not perfect yet. We're working out the kinks. But it is up and running. So that's why we ask you to use the mic if possible. Go ahead. Did you hear a question? Repeat a question.
Sure. There is an ordinance. We just have to enforce it a little better. But we do have an ordinance.
Okay. And if there's a particular area, okay. So your question was if we had an ordinance that deals with that, and the city manager saying yes.
We got one, we just need to do a little bit more strenuous enforcement on it.
And if you let him know which particular area, maybe it's all over, okay. All right, so that's another. Okay, he's got the message. I agree. We agree. We agree. We're open to suggestions, remember. Now, please, let's, streets. Now, we know that street, every time I go on anywhere, streets, everybody's complaining about holes in the streets and how bad the streets are. We know they are bad. And we're now getting to the season where we can begin to work and repair streets. We couldn't do it back during the cold weather and the wet period. But now, Mr. City Manager, and Joanne, you want to go first? You wait? Okay. Well, also tearing down these old houses, abandoned. That's not on the agenda tonight, but I know on Washington Avenue in particular, that one, I saw it the other day. But so you may want to mention what we're going to do about tearing down,
Yes,
the
sir.
vacant houses.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
We would have brought you the mic, Joe, but it's good to be able to get to walk. Yeah, that's great.
Mr. Mayor and the other honorable members of the panel, I'm not going to talk about my neighborhood and my home and all the stuff that's around me. For 10 years ago, and I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to the street. 10 years ago, I made a presentation. I came up here to the council, and they promised me when ordinance was done and able to do it, and da-da-da-da, you know the rest.
Yeah.
But it's still there. Now, right now, I'm putting around $9,000 worth of money into my yard just because I'm tired of sitting, but it's all around me. It's just blight. And so, but my question about the streets is, sometime last fall, I believe it was, I rode down Clark Avenue, Night Street had been paid, part of Scott Street had been paid, Logan Street had been paid, but that little one block from Logan Street to Washington Avenue, that goes right past my back driveway,
that part.
was not done. Now, how do you make decisions about what portions of the street to pave and which ones not? I mean, I was just totally upset because I'm feeling like I'm not a citizen of Tuskegee. But now I have to give the mayor credit. He was in the neighborhood once and he called me to say, I see what you mean. And somebody was kind enough to complain about the potholes at my back driveway, and he sent someone out to put some filling in for them. But I just wanted to know what plan do you use for deciding what to pave and what not to pave?
Thank you so much.
Well, like you say, what plan do we use for what to pave and not to pave? Money determines what we're going to pave and what we're not going to pave. But we are you will see you are seeing a visible difference in the streets now. If you would go around town, you'll see several streets are being paved and potholes are being taken care of. As the weather gets better, we will do better. But it's been cold and it's been raining, and the asphalt don't take when it's wet out there or the temperature is cold. So there's very little that we can do during the cold months. So now the summer is coming up. We're going full force to pave streets, and the streets that we are selecting to pave are the busiest streets with the most people on the street, the busier neighborhoods where most of the traffic is. So we're gonna make a special effort to come by and see you.
But seriously, Mrs. Grant, thank you for reminding me, because I remember now that section. So, Mr. Manager, if you could please, as you say, check on that one and see if we can't go ahead and knock that one out.
Clark?
No, it's Scott Street, between Logan and Washington. And also, you're right, all around you, Polk Building and the one on the corner, it looks like a ghetto. All those, I mean, your house is nice. Washington Avenue used to be one of the nicest streets, period. So, but we know what you mean, but he does have a plan. Tell us and when you're going to be kicking off that, you know.
Well, we've already started.
Right.
We'll be getting around to your neighborhood. We'll be there next week.
Okay. All right. Okay. You can't beat that. All right, go ahead. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Go ahead, Council.
I'd like to thank our city manager.
Is your mic on? Help us.
Because the people on Osmond Drive, they have been complaining and complaining, Jerry Clay said, about Osmond. That's one of the worst streets in my district. And you have started paving it. Those people are so excited. I went down that street and they were so happy. I told them, I've been working on it. So you did it. Thank you very much. Yes.
So, Joanne, see, you heard it, right? You heard him. He's coming your way. All right, Johnny, you'll make sure, man. Oh, who was next? Oh, yes, Mrs. King, please, our former city clerk. Please, thank you for coming, Mrs. King. Thank you for all you continue to still do.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to say on Franklin Road, my name is Hattie King, and I travel Franklin Road and Washington Avenue. On Franklin Road, just beyond the middle school, before you get to the intersection of the VA Road, there's a pothole there that my car hit in, but now I know where it is, I dodge it. But it's right there between those two houses, right there at the end, where you say, welcome to Tuskegee sign. It's a big pothole. Washington Avenue, there's a gutter in the street. It's not a pothole. I'm just surprised somebody's car hasn't fallen apart. It's deep as I am, and they need to do that immediately. It's terrible on Washington. On the end of Washington, going all the way after you pass the Jackson's property, and you're going down that old club that's sitting there.
That's Franklin?
No, I'm on Washington Avenue now. That old club that's sitting there, down Kippy Jackson's old club that's sitting down there. There's a pothole. Modulator, yeah. It's terrible.
Okay. You got it. Thank you. Yes.
I guess y'all know I'm full of suggestions, but you know.
Thank you, Mrs. Love.
When you have done this for 30+ years, you've got the ideas. Can I offer suggestions?
We're open.
Okay, my suggestion is your garbage men is out on the street every day.
Right.
Let them write down the major potholes. Police department out every day. All they got to do is just say, such and such an address, you got a pothole. And then you won't have to worry about a citizen coming up here and bringing it to the attention. Just a suggestion, okay?
Okay.
Well, thank you, sir. That's happening already.
Okay.
They are reporting.
Okay.
Just takes time to get around to it.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Congratulations on Franklin Road too, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, you called it to our attention, remember?
It's been done now.
They're working on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
The state and the county can take.
Right. Now, did he get with you? He was supposed to get with you? Okay, all right.
Thank you. I remember this great city, Tuskegee. I remember we had those beautiful streets. And I'm just praying that we can once again have these wonderful streets. And my concern is the lines.
The what?
The lines on the road, especially.
Oh, the lines, yeah,
Right,
in the
we don't
street.
have
They
the
need to be
lines.
repainted.
That's correct.
Right,
And if
okay.
you're coming into Ashdale,
Ashdale, right,
right up in there, the four-way,
okay.
it's like, you don't have a mark there so you can kind of see how to get in there and going all the way out there. Those lines are messed up in County Road 33. County Road 24 had been blacktop, but County Road 33 out in Brownville, the road need lines and they got potholes and they need blacktop. County Road 33.
Okay, good,
Right,
thank you.
We talked to the highway department a couple of weeks ago, and the state is gonna assist us in striping some of our streets.
Great. Okay, well, listen, we will do this again. I want to give yourselves a hand for getting through this. And we want our citizens to know that we are trying our best. We're not perfect. We need your help to help us do a better job. As it relates to utilities, it's been the weather has been a major, major factor. And also, many times, there may be things that you can do as well to conserve energy. But let's work together to try to face all of these problems. So, thank you all so very much for being here. We do have now Channel 6 back online. An organized program is being developed. You'll be able to have your weddings and events and special events. Churches will be able to have their events on, the city council meeting, the utility board meeting, and hopefully the Board of Education and Tuskegee University will be able to rerun their games. And so we will have our local station alive again to keep our people informed, and also in the time of danger, storms approaching and that kind of thing. It enables us to be able to communicate with you. So that's the television station. And we're now also working on the radio station as well. That's our next project. So, if all hearts are clear, I want to ask Reverend Leonard that you have the floor, and you can also dismiss us as well.
I would like to
Take your time.
To the board, all of the persons here. This is the 150th year of George Washington Carver, and there's a petition online. I got a letter from Senator Shelby, who said, number one, that I wrote a letter suggesting that a United States memorial coin be made in the image of George Washington Carver because of his contributions. He said he thought it was a beautiful idea, and he said because Carver has given much to Alabama and to the nation, but because there was no legislation before the 113th Congress, he couldn't do anything. So we immediately went to work, put a petition out there online. It's at petition, with an S, moveon.org. Sign your name on that petition. It's already up to over 50 now. And it just started yesterday. And I just got a chance to get it on the Tuskegee blast off from Tuskegee University, so all of the faculty, staff, and everybody else can get it. So let's see if we can't go online and sign it, because we need to honor our persons who made great contributions here in Tuskegee and throughout the world, especially here in Tuskegee.
Repeat it again.
And that's petition, P-E-T-I-T-I-O-N-S, petition.moveon.org, O-R-G. And just go there, all you have to do is sign, and that petition, after we get the number, is going to the White House, and going to the legislature, and also to President Obama. So your name will be on that list. All the persons who sign, the name and number is right on that list. So please sign it if you so desire to do so. All right?
Thank you. Paul Hodges.
One more time. That's petition, PETITIONS.
Yeah.
Petition, moveon.org. Again.
And put it in the Tuskegee News.
Yeah. Petition, move on, make sure.
Okay?
And if you happen to miss that, just look, check William C. Leonard, go on there and vote if you will, all right?
Great.
You'll see, add your name and just tap that and it'll come up and just put your information there and then sign it. And then they'll give you a number where you'll sign on that particular. Oh, the museum will be open on the Friday. We're supposed to be there on Friday to the case. So you're right, it's Friday. At what time? At 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, ribbon cutting?
Ribbon cutting, yes, sir. I
All
know
right.
you'll be there. All right. Let us stand if you will. Father God, we thank you for our officials and thank you, Lord, for our citizens and all of those who have come out this afternoon to deliberate and give their views and also their opinion on how to make our city, this city that is sitting on a hill, a city that cannot be hidden, a city that, number one, let its light so shine that others may see its good work and glorify thee which art in heaven. We thank you for our officers. We thank you for our officials and ask that you continue to throw your arms around them and bless them and keep them from all hurt, harm, and danger. Give our people, our young people, and also our citizens also a vision to help us to realize, Lord, that we have a mandate to keep. We have a commandment to love one another. We have a commandment to do unto others as we would have them do unto each other. And help us, Lord, to go forward. And let this again, Lord, be a city, Lord, that everyone, Lord, want to come to. All roads will lead here because your light is so shining in this community. Go with us and keep us in your care. In the name of Jesus Christ, we ask it all. Now unto him who's able to keep us from falling and present us faultless before his presence with exceeding great joy. To the only wise God be glory and majesty now and forever. Let everybody say, amen.